You're tuning into a wake-up call, which is your weekly dose of purpose packed with science-backed tools to beat burnout and boost happiness.
Hosted by us, Tess Brower and 7-time world champion Layne Beachley.
We're the founders of Awake Academy. This podcast mixes raw life lessons, expert wisdom, and practical tips
to help you stop sleepwalking through life and start living it on your terms.
You ready to wake up and thrive?
Let's go. Welcome to another episode of A Wake Up Call.
Hi, I'm Layne Beachley, AO of Manly. That's how my husband refers to me.
Unofficial mayor of Manly. And I am Tess Brower, a mum, a practitioner of positive psychology and wellbeing. And most of all, I am business partners with this wonderful human.
And together, we are Awake Academy, where we run programs to help people live happier, more purposeful lives.
Why? Because we were never given a toolkit. So our mission is to give you guys that, a little shortcut to life to help you use every moment as your wake-up call.
Okay, TB, because this podcast is all about demonstrating the toolkits and sharing the toolkits.
Yeah.
How are you feeling out of 10?
I'm probably about a 7 to 8.
Why is that?
Because my son Benji, as you know, knows when I have an important day.
And it's not with him.
No. And subconsciously he tries to sabotage those important days. So we were up at 4:15 this morning learning about the bear hunt.
What's the bear hunt?
You know, we're going on a bear hunt. Do you know that nursery rhyme?
No, I don't.
I didn't either. I had to relearn it. But he thought that the bear was going to kill the family.
Oh.
So I had to deconstruct that fear. I know.
That's big.
Yeah.
At 4:15 in the morning.
At 4:15 in the morning.
Okay. And how did he settle after that?
Oh, he was really fun. He wanted to do it again and again and again.
So he didn't go back to sleep?
No way.
Benji.
So, but I am thrilled because I get to share tips and tools with you today.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
Honestly, I would say I'm around about a 4.
Oh, that's not good.
I'm
Why?
depleted. I've had a big week. I haven't slept well the last few nights. I'm in the thought spiral of what's coming and am I prepared for it, which always increases my levels of anxiety.
So you're in the what ifs?
I'm in the what ifs and what do I need to do about it?
What is?
Versus what is and what am I going to do about it now?
Well, let's coach you. What is it?
Well, let's start with some oracle cards, shall we? This is one of my favourite ways. Oracle cards, but these are called the swear at warning, the fucking honest oracle cards. So one of our favourite ways to start meetings is to get a check-in, not only with our number out of 10, but how we're truly feeling. And nothing is better at discovering that than a fucking honest oracle card. So,
all right,
pick one. All
right. For those of you listening, I am about to pull an oracle card to give me a check-in. Oh, I think this one is for you. Fucking nah. So
I revert back to my book that gives us an outline of what that card means. And in the book it says, your inability to say no is fucking you over. That is
no to the bear hunt.
Unless you're an actual doctor or some other super useful and important human, you can say no with sincerity and no one is going to die.
Wow.
In fact, they probably won't even care. Except for Benji will.
Yeah.
They'll just move on to the next dumb ask and ask them instead. Recognize when you say yes out of habit and stop that shit.
Well, there you go. That was for everyone at home too, so everyone listening, because we all need to know how to say no more often. All right. This is for you, LB.
Thank you. I'm going to go right down here and say this one. Slow the fuck down.
Give me the book.
Whew, yes, that's
what number are we?
Very pertinent. Number 26.
I didn't actually need to do your oracle to tell you that this morning. You don't need to do all the things all the time. Burnout sucks hard and you don't want to go there. Take a fucking break, catch your breath and prioritize energy expenditure.
That's something we can all learn from. All right, everybody, you're joining me. Let's all slow the fuck down, shall we? Okay, what are we talking about today?
Today's episode, we are talking about the words, I am fine. And if you've ever used these words, then this episode is for you.
Do we need to explain what the word fine actually stands for?
I think you're going to learn a lot about Layne-isms. So this is a Layne-ism. Ready?
Ready? Fine. It's an acronym. Fucked up, insecure, needy, and emotional. If we hear you say the word I'm fine, stop it. Just stop it.
When were you last fine?
When was I last fine? Yesterday.
What happened?
Well, I went for a surf. And I'd convinced myself that was a good thing to do. I was mentally, emotionally, and physically depleted, but I convinced myself I'm fine. It'll only be 30 minutes. I'll just go out there because I know how much better I feel afterwards. But
and you do normally.
I do, but the wind was howling onshore. The rain squalls were coming down. There was not a single soul on the beach or in the water, and I was fine. Just do it, Layne. Just get out there and go for it. And I came home even more depleted.
Was it a bad surf?
I got one wave in 30 minutes. Normally I catch about 5. So
5 waves in 30 minutes?
Normally.
I'm not a surfer, so like this is probably why our relationship or dynamic works, because I have no idea the acronyms of waves. But 5 waves in 30 minutes doesn't sound like a good day either.
What, you don't think that's enough?
Wow. What is enough?
Oh, it's never enough. I'm addicted to catching as many waves as I can. But on days like yesterday where the waves were well overhead, wind was howling, I actually paddled out and I couldn't get out the back. And so I had to turn around and come in and walk up to the other end of the beach. And the whole time the wind's blowing my board into me, the rain's coming down in my face. I'm like, this is fine. I'm fine.
So I can relate to those moments where I've pushed myself through fine and not necessarily through big wind swells, but it felt like that at the time, like showing up to an event or trying to push our family to do something they don't want to do because it's got to be fun and it's got to be fine. How did you get yourself out of it?
I just chose to acknowledge that I wasn't fine. Like I actually had to truly recognize, you know what? I'm not fine. I'm exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally. I should be in bed resting. I've got this block of time right now where I can really just prioritize recovery. And I'm actually making it worse.
See, what alarm was going off? Because normally it's either Kirk or me that mirrors you and says enough.
Yeah.
It's rare sometimes that it's rare that I see you pull the white flag. What happened?
Well, first, the conditions were appalling.
But you got there.
And secondly, when I connected with how I truly felt, I thought this is the worst thing I need to be doing for myself right now. So I went home and had a very quick hot shower and crawled into bed. And I normally nap for about 30 minutes. I was in bed for 2 hours. I was that exhausted. And then I woke up feeling much better, still depleted, but no longer fine.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, I'm just thinking about what I've learned about being fine or being emotionally suppressing how I'm truly feeling is my body is my alarm.
Yeah.
And if I am feeling exhausted, depleted, like I can't talk to people, it's all fuzzy, I know that I'm fine. Like I can get up and I can do all of these. I can produce a great dinner. I can hold it like a workshop or do a great meeting or whatever is on my plate that day. But deep down, there's this burning sensation in my soul that I am not okay.
How do you hear it or feel it? Like, because as you said, there were so many things that you were focusing your attention on. The last thing you're going to focus on is the burning within your soul.
Yeah.
How do you connect with it?
Well, luckily I know the science that if you feel an emotion, it only lasts in your body for 90 seconds. And you and I talk about this all the time when we're coaching people through it. But we coach people through it because we need to hear it ourselves.
Yeah, we teach what we need to learn.
That's right. And I was thinking to myself, so it was a break between, mine was this week as well, believe it or not, and I had a huge work day and I had to come out into the kitchen and be a mum. And I thought, I'm fine, I can just do this, I'll just push through, I won't stop.
Yeah. Were you being a mum to a 3-year-old or a bunch of teenage stepkids?
Everyone, full house.
And your husband.
And my husband. He's okay. He doesn't need to be mummed. And I thought to myself, I am fine to push through to dinner, but I can feel the white fuzz in my brain. I can feel it in my body. It's like I was dreading conversation.
Oh.
And that is, I'm a communicator. I'm a storyteller. Like that is my number one connection point is listening and talking with people. So I knew at that point something was really wrong. So that's like radar red flag.
Right.
And I only had probably 7 minutes between finishing the workday and everything happening. So I just went for a walk. And I chose a different path that I normally do. So I was like, I've got to rewire my brain. There was rubbish along the path, so I picked it up.
Good job.
Yeah. And I felt and I was with my dog and he just smiles and when he laughs and he walks and I got home.
Your dog laughs?
Yeah, he's just got this big, beautiful smile when he runs.
Wow. I want one of your dogs.
Yeah. Well, you know, Charlie.
Yeah, he
more
doesn't
cat
like
than
me.
Dog.
He doesn't like me very much.
And when I got home, I don't even think I told you this. This was the moment where I realized I'd lost the diamond in my engagement ring.
Oh.
And I walked in the door and I went, I've lost the diamond. And had that have happened 7 minutes earlier, I think I would have been
catastrophized
myself. Yeah. But I just allowed myself to feel, and I thought, well, there's nothing I can do about it. The diamond's gone. I mean, I did search everywhere and went into the Tupperware containers and went everywhere. Anyway, so fine is something that we really are passionate about helping people through, because it is not an everyday state. And when something goes wrong, like losing diamonds or showing up at the beach in your favorite place in the world and you're not present and you get one wave in 30 minutes, your reaction time slows down when you are regulated. So what did you do?
Well, and your quality of life reduces as well. Yeah. So, it's just a matter of honoring how you're feeling. And you know, you said it's not an everyday feeling, but unfortunately with the majority of population it is these days. I think people are relying on fine to get themselves through the day, and just if I get through this day, then I can get home, I can regulate with alcohol or drugs, I can hopefully, which is another acronym, but you know, hopefully I can resort to at least maybe getting a restorative sleep and then going into the next day and the next day and the next day. So somehow we need to pull the handbrake and go, stop.
Yeah.
Slow the fuck down.
Yeah.
This is not sustainable.
Yeah.
But how can we make it sustainable? Like, how can we make fine short-term sustainable to then we can get to the end point and go, okay, now that I've sustained my progress through fine, I'm now going to just prioritize rest and recovery so I can be better than that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we just maintain, like, I don't know about our listeners, but for me, I feel like when I'm in fine, I'm on the hamster wheel of life.
Well, yeah, and you're on the edge of burnout.
Yeah.
Because you're suppressing how you're really feeling.
Yes.
It is the only thing that you can think about is, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I wonder, I would love to see people walking down the street with what was really going on. And I remember
what, like a neon light?
Yeah,
coming
like
out
a
of their
neon
heads?
light. Like my dad, I just picked my dad up from a dementia ward, or what you're going through. Like,
yeah, to get a true insight into what's going on.
Yeah, because we all have these layers going on. And one of the most frightening things for me leaving hospital was walking down the street as a normal person again. But I was like riddled with PTSD and anxiety that I was going to get hurt again. I was not comfortable being in the normal world, and I'd walk down the street and it was so much easier with a neck brace on because people could say, oh, she's injured, be careful, or like if someone approaches you with crutches. But the truth about mental wellness and illness, which I've learned, is the impact of it is worse than a broken arm or a broken leg, but you can't see it.
Yeah.
And like, how do we take care of people more by when they say, oh, I'm fine? It's like, are you really? Well, no, I just got out of hospital and my life's absolutely fucked and I'm living at my parents' home under psychiatric care. But yeah, everything's fine.
I'm fine.
How's your day going?
It's like the term, it's all good.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that gets my goat up. It's not all good. How is everything falling apart all good?
Yeah.
I mean, it's great that you're still standing, but nothing about that's all good.
Yeah. So I think the first tool in our toolkit right now is to have a little bit of self-compassion. The moment you start hearing yourself saying, I'm fine, or I'll do this when, or I don't have time for myself, use that as your internal GPS to check in, because that's how you'll show up in the world. So honoring how you're feeling.
That is definitely the first point.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first point, to honor how you feel, takes a lot of courage as well, because if we're just thinking about the output to get to the outcome, then we won't even consider where we're at within this point in time. So now that you've stopped and you've paused, you go, okay, I'm fine.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah.
What do you do next? I feel like the best way to regulate yourself in that point in time is to take a really deep breath, or just to learn a breathing technique that's intentional and grounding. It could be a box breathing technique, which is breathing in for 4 seconds, holding your breath for 4 seconds, exhaling for 4 seconds, holding your breath for 4 seconds, and doing that cycle for 4 rounds is literally just 1 minute out of your life. But it decompresses that sympathetic nervous system. It eliminates a lot of the stress out of your body and gives you some clarity around how you're feeling and then what choices you can make after that. And you've got one of your favorite breaths, which is your 2 times breath.
Yeah. The psychological sigh, which is what you see a dog doing when they want to relax. It's there go,
yes, like,
yeah. and then they're ready for sleep. You like drawing. I've brought drawing into our house as well quite a lot. It's all that is on our dining table, sometimes washing, but also just pens and paper. And just being able to express how you feel through drawing really is the feel it to heal it that you love and that we encourage people to do because, again, 90 seconds is all you need to feel an emotion. Anything other than that is the story you wrap around it.
Exactly. And we'll go back. We will enter the stories framework in other podcast episodes.
Yeah.
But I feel that if we're asking people to deal with fine right now, once they've taken a deep breath, what would you suggest they do next?
What's your intention? Where do you want to go? Like, do you want to show up as a calm and collected mum in the next series or parent, or do you have to enter a meeting room and perform? Set your intention is how do I want to feel in this next bit and what do I need to do to reset? So for you needed to go to bed.
Yeah, I needed a nap.
For me, I only had 7 minutes, but I needed to do something to prioritize myself. And that looked like getting out of the house and doing something different. So replace that with something that you need. Like we encourage people to just go out to coffee by themselves or tea or just remove yourself from that physiological state that you're in and change it.
Yeah, our goal is to empower and educate people, not to overwhelm them. And the great thing is through our book and our courses, we've got a multitude of toolkits and life hacks that people can tap into. But I feel like they're the simplest ways to slow everything down and to prioritize our own emotional, mental and physical well-being. And then, as you say, you get to choose how then you respond to that. Because if you're just in fine, you're in reaction mode.
Yeah.
You're never in response.
All right. So number 1, honor how you are feeling. Check in. What is happening and showing up for you right now?
And where are you feeling it?
Yeah. Where is fine in your body? Number 2, take a breath.
Take a very deep, intentional breath. And the slower the exhale, the better, because it's the exhale that creates the decompression. It reduces the stress.
Like you're a big tire and you're letting out all of that pressure. And number 3 is what is your intention? So how are you going to move through this with intent? And that is for you to decide a toolkit on what you can do to help yourself in that moment.
When we start talking about the words I'm fine, it's not limited to adults. We hear kids say it all the time as well. So it can be, it's learned behavior. It's a learned response to particular behavior that starts in childhood and then goes all the way through to old age.
That's so true. And I see that in my stepkids when they say they're fine.
And they're teenagers.
Yeah, they're teenagers. And I always want to coach them in that moment and say, you're lying to yourself. Like it's the biggest lie. And I know to leave them and to help them regulate themselves. But I can see it even happening with Benji now when he's playing and something happens to him. And as parents, you're trying to emotionally coach a child through something whilst you're emotionally coaching yourself. And the last thing you want to see is your kid in pain or your kid. And I rush to him when he's in pain and my husband looks at me like, don't slow down. And I think to myself, no, let him feel it and sit with him. And I've said to him, are you okay? And he's like, I'm fine now. And I'm like, are you lying? Is this true? Do I believe you? Is this a pattern I need to interrupt?
And how did you learn the words I'm fine at 3?
Yeah. So it's something that I need to reflect on too as you brought this up. And look, we're talking about this podcast because we need to learn this stuff all the time. We wrote a book called Know Yourself, Grow Yourself because we're on this quest to learn more about ourselves and how we approach situations. So I'm thinking through this episode that I need to really understand Benji's I'm fine because where did he learn that?
Exactly.
Obviously from me.
Our kids are our mirrors.
Yeah. Do you remember saying it when you were younger?
No, I don't.
What about when you were winning?
Well, the thing is, I believe that women say it more than men. And that may be a projected judgment.
Well, you spent a lot of time with women.
Yes, but I grew up in a male-dominated household in a male-dominated surf.
What's the equivalent of a man saying, I'm fine?
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's all good. That's what men tend to resort to.
Okay, we're watching you all
Yeah,
goods.
we're listening to you all gooders.
Yeah.
This is not all good.
Yeah. The biggest lie you can tell yourself, it's all good.
Or I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I grew up, my mum died when I was young and I didn't have a female role model in my household. So I didn't really get to hear the words I'm fine very often.
And you do have an it's all good.
mentality.
Yeah, I've seen it in you.
Yeah, I do. I have a real optimistic, let's just get through this. Get on with it.
Yeah. So do you think that that fueled your success in a way that you didn't see at the time?
What, the words, it's all good?
Yeah.
Or the mentality, because it wasn't really a statement.
No.
Back then. Look, upon reflection, I'm sure there was elements of it's all good, carry on, get through this. I have to prove something. It was the proof. It was the necessity to prove my worthiness that really drove everything that I did. And we'll get into that later in other episodes.
We will get into that.
Yeah.
All right. So for people saying to themselves, I'm fine,
or it's all good,
this is a toolkit for you.
Okay, Tess, so we have our first listener question from our dream team. And a lot of people are probably thinking, what's a dream team?
Mm-hmm.
And I learnt this concept very early on growing up in Manly Beach, where I was surrounded by men, no other women, and all of the guys out there were either a part of my dream team or they were dream thieves. Now, dream team members are supportive, encouraging, honest. They bring the best out of you. They elevate you. But they're a community. They're a like-minded community. Your dream thieves, they're the people who are judgmental, critical, analytical, the first to highlight your flaws, try and bring you down, keep you level-headed, keep you on the ground. So we love to refer to anyone within the Awake Academy collective or community as our dream team.
I love that.
Yeah.
The question is, who are you?
All right. The question to everyone listening is, who are you in your world?
And how do you want to show up?
Yeah.
All right. So Amy has said, Dear Layne, I've heard you say in the past that you were only happy with the way that you won your first and your 7th surfing titles. Okay. I should say world championships.
That's true.
Yeah. I'd love to know why you say that and what disappoints you about the 5 in the middle.
Well, this is a really deep question.
Is disappoint the right word?
That is also another deep question. It's not that I'm only happy with 1 and 7. It's that I won 5 world titles in a state of fear and 2 world titles in a state of love. Now, I've learned through both states that you can be successful in either way, but at what cost?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy with world titles 1 and 7 because they're my love-based world titles and they were process-driven. But world titles number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 were outcome-driven. So when you're process-driven, you're not defined by what happens to you. You're not defined by your results. You're defined by the work that you invest into delivering the results that you expect of yourself. I always had the expectation to be the best in the world, and then I had to hold myself accountable. But in the years leading up to my first world title, I'd refer to myself as a classic victim. It was everyone else's fault while I was failing. It was the judges, it was my boards, it was my peers, it was the conditions, it was everyone else's fault until I realized the common denominator in all of my disappointment and pain and suffering was me.
And that was a wake-up call.
That was a major wake-up call. So I had to learn to do things differently. And that first meant taking responsibility for my thoughts and my actions and my behaviors.
It sounds like you were the dream thief of your own life.
I was the dream thief of my own life at that time. I was a massive dream thief and I was pushing people away and I was behaving in really unusual ways and I was compromising my values and sacrificing my health and well-being. But it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was fine.
How did you wake up?
Well, I fell in love with a man called Ken, not Kirk. He was next. But I fell in love with a guy called Ken who looks a lot like Buzz Lightyear and behaves like him.
And Kirk, for the record, is
Woody
of Toy Story.
So, I got my senses about me and married Woody. Buzz can fly around the room with his eyes closed, but Woody's the sensible one.
To infinity.
And beyond.
So how did he help you?
So Ken first was my dream team member. He saw more in me than I saw in myself. And he realized that there was a subconscious behavioral belief and pattern that kept emerging or appearing at moments of opportunity.
So you're sabotaging yourself.
I was in self-sabotage mode consistently. So that's wonderful things about dream team members, that they can see aspects of yourself that you can't see within yourself. And Ken drew it out of me. He's like, he referred to the subconscious negative thoughts as the worm. He's like, the worm's burrowed itself back into your consciousness. I'm like, yes. So he helped me identify where I was going wrong and then provided me with a distraction from it and started helping me focus on things that would help me be a better athlete, a better human being, and a better surfer, such as surfing in conditions that my peers wouldn't do.
Not going out on blistering, wintry, cold days.
Well, in actual fact, he did recommend that kind of thing. He recommended I went and body surfed 10-foot Sunset Beach, which has a 25-foot face of water with no flippers and no goggles, just a bikini. First, go and let the lifeguards know that I'm about to jump in a rip that's going to drag me out to sea and put me into the impact zone of 25-foot face waves. And then just swim around out there and get comfortable with the fact that every square meter of water weighs a ton, and that's going to land on my head.
So Ken taught you to be comfortable in uncomfortable.
Yes.
I can't understand why you never married him.
Well,
but he was a huge gift. Did he reflect back to you self-love so that you became your own dream team member?
Not entirely, no. So he was really self-critical and he was quite hard on himself, which then projected onto me. So the expectations, and this is where I'm going with Amy's question about world titles.
Yeah, sorry, Amy, we'll come back to you.
World titles 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, those 5 in the middle, is that the minute I achieved my goal, I now placed unrealistic expectations on myself to then do it again and again and again. But the belief that I had was I had to be worthy of that success, and to be worthy of that, I had to be twice as good as what I was last year, which was unrealistic. But Ken had also projected that expectation onto me as well. And so it drove me to be better and more ferocious, where I was then tagged as having the compassion of a tiger shark, because I had zero compassion for myself, and we can't give compassion to others when we have no compassion for ourselves. So I lost compassion because I was so focused on winning. So that outcome-driven mentality then cost me my quality of health and well-being and connection with Ken, because if I didn't win, I was a loser. So I was winning and losing in world titles 2 to 6. But in world titles 1 and 7, if I wasn't winning, I was learning. So it was more of a speed bump versus an emotional roller coaster. So when you're surrounded by people that have really fierce expectations of you, that is not your problem. What is your challenge is how your expectations of yourself are impacting you. No one could expect more of me than I could have expected myself. That's why I'm disappointed in the way in which I achieved those goals. I'm disappointed in the way I pushed myself. I pushed people away. I compromised my values. I sacrificed my health and well-being. I destroyed relationships, all because I was on this relentless pursuit of success and achievement. Because what I didn't realize until after I won my 6th consecutive world title is that I'm not going for world titles, fame, or glory. I'm going for self-worth. That's all I'm seeking, is the worthiness to be loved. So great question, Amy. Thank you.
I wonder if you had found self-love, self-worth, which is a big part of my journey too, early, say end of 1. And I know that this is a question that sometimes comes up. Do you feel that you would have won 6 in a row?
100%. I actually can confidently say I probably would have won 7 in a row. But because I pursued at such a relentless cost of health and well-being that it was impossible to do it again. And I can honestly say world titles 1 and 7 proved to me that if I come from a place of love and self-compassion, I can achieve my goals. But I stopped believing that that was possible.
And it is such a reminder to everyone. It is a story of success, but it's inner success that was your greatest gift in all of this. It was learning to love yourself through all of the cards that you were dealt. And when you found that, you found true love first in yourself, and then Woody came along.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, as human beings, I fall in and out of love with myself all the time, but I'm also conscious of the triggers that instigate that. Yeah. And now I can just pull back and go, whoa. Yeah. Be kind. Yeah. Be compassionate.
So we need a new word for disappointment, Amy. So,
well, look, dissatisfaction is the precursor to change.
Yeah.
And so I like to say I was dissatisfied. With how I won those world titles, because I now know what it cost me. So when we're talking about the word fine, if we bring it back to the theme of the podcast today, what is the word fine costing you?
Yeah. What is the word fine costing you?
And what are the words it's all good denying you?
What a truth bomb to end on. Thank you for your rawness and your authenticity in that. I know it's not easy to go there, but you go there with such grace. And let us encourage you to look at your life through our stories and our lenses. I know certainly I'm not going to win 7 more titles in a row, but I can relate to the similarities in those stories. So thank you for that. And that's our encouragement for you today, is take a little bit away and apply it to your life so that you can have a wake-up call on you today. So thank you for listening. If you want to know more, check out awakeacademy.com.au.
And that's a wrap for today's episode. We'll be dropping a new one every Monday.
If you want to hear more about us, check us out on awakeacademy.com.au or leave a comment or a review because it really does help us. And in the show notes is everything you learnt today.
And if you want to work with us more, join us at the Awake Collective. The link is in the show notes. We'll see you next week. Toodles!